So most of the artists or photographers are having such kind of philosophy. Basically saying, I want to find the values in our everyday life. Mainly the people who are not in mainstream. The kids selling the food for pigeons on the Riverside. Most of the people don't like them. And they are annoying. They are just begging for food for pigeons. It's fine. They have to live. And very common. Have you ever talked with them? I want to ask most of the people living here. I think most of the people don't talk with them, even don't talk to them. Actually, I'm really interested in those kids, each kids, and hanging out with them and taking photos and print out and pass it them. And they remember me also. Take is coming, hey, taking photo of me. Now we are some kind of a friends, but not so many people interested in those kinds of interaction with the, how to say, poor background people. I don't care, those kind of poor or rich or CEO or homeless people. I'm talking equally to the people.
Hello everyone, my name is Dinlong and welcome to the podcast Lifeline. In this podcast, I will interview people who are having a positive impact in their community and have a strong message that deserves to be shared. We will dive deeper into their journey becoming a change maker, and hopefully you can take away some insights for your own journey. And please do subscribe to Lifeline on YouTube, Apple Podcast, or any platform that you are using. And also you can share this episode with your friends if you like it. It's really what helps me the most. In today's episode, you will meet Shunsuke Miyatake, or Take, who is a photographer from Japan on a mission to spotlight everyday life moments, especially the moments that go through life unnoticed. He started taking random photos with his iPhone in 2010, then deleted everything, quickly learned the basics, restarted by taking photos of his kids in traditional Japanese moments, bought a proper camera, and then started capturing and sharing the beauty of everyday Cambodia to his 36,000 followers on Instagram. We discuss the evolving philosophy behind his photography work, the small moments that shaped the photographer that he is today, and his other life as a semi-professional football player. This episode is special because it was the first offline interview since October, so I hope you enjoy. Cool, okay. So hi Take, hi Shunsuke. Morning, how are you today?
I'm very good.
Good.
But actually I'm a little bit frustrated because of the under curfew and I cannot play football.
Oh yeah. I was supposed to play badminton on Thursday for the first time in 2 months.
Wow.
But then they announced curfew on the same day. So I can feel you. But cool, yeah, no, I'm super excited to have you. And for the story, you are the first offline interview of 2021.
Yeah.
And since October.
Since October?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I've just been doing interviews online so far. So it's fun, but it's not the same.
I'm so happy.
Yeah, so we're kickstarting everything, so I'm so happy.
Yeah.
And I always start by reminding a bit how we know each other. So actually the first time we met
was that?
Actually it was here. So we are recording at Impact Hub, Phnom Penh. And we met in a Japanese restaurant.
Where was that? Japanese restaurant? Marugame.
Yes.
Yeah, eating udon.
Yes. And you were speaking about your backpacking stories in Spain.
Yeah.
So I will.
3 years ago?
Two years ago. Yeah. 2 years ago, and then I follow you on Instagram. So I see all your pictures. I've been to your exhibition recently. We've been together to a village of Shenzhou as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so happy. So everything I just mentioned, we'll speak about it, but we'll speak about much more. Basically, just for everyone's information, today we're going to speak a lot about photography, about the concept of ikigai. I want to speak about football as well because it's such an important part of your life.
Yes.
But yeah, maybe we can start. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, everybody. My name is Shunsuke Miyatake. I'm from Japan. I was born in Kobe, famous for beef, and moving to Yokohama. That is a port city because my father was working for shipping company, Norwegian shipping company, and I was growing up in Yokohama. Influenced by my father working for Norwegian shipping company, and we were lived near Kamakura, the ancient capital city of Japan. So we went to go to temples and watching the statues of Buddha and learning about cultures and inviting a lot of foreign families and talking in English. I was so impressed with my father talking in English and explaining about Japanese history, Japanese cultures, walking around Kamakura city together. And I was so much influenced by my father. So I want to study English, and I really wanted to go outside of Japan. And I was going to UK when I was 15 years old, just for 3 weeks, in a short-term program of junior high school. And I went there as an exchange student, and it was so impressive for me. It's totally different cultures and environment from Japanese one. So I was so impressed, and I really wanted to go out and working outside. And at the same time, I was playing football since when I was 4 years old until now. I'm 38. And yeah, and I went to UK at 15 and coming back to Japan and interested in world society, history, international politics, international economy. So I was trying to get into the Japanese university connected to the different countries, but I failed. So I went to the Aoyama Gakuin University and majored international politics. And at the same time, I was playing football, usually. And after during the university, when I was 20 years old or 21 years old, I went to Europe for 10 months with my friend, starting from Barcelona and going around Europe with a backpack and skateboard and football. And we had $12K total, né? 6K each. But we used all of that money within 1.5 months because there were so many beautiful ladies in the bar and we were trying to treat them and paying a lot of money, and we spent all the money. But at that time we were so ridiculous. Oh, we have to go back now? But we didn't really want to go back because in Japan, after graduation, we have to start working at the company or in different ways. But usually the students go into the company and start working. But we didn't want to work yet. So we decided to earn money through playing football on the street and fighting against the local people 2 by 2 and betting some money, like €5 every match, and we keep on winning, and we got a lot of money and buying beers and wines and okay, guys, we bought a lot of alcohol, so bring them to your house and let us in, and then started staying in the football friend's house. Starting from Spain, Portugal, Netherlands, and going to UK, France, Germany, a lot of places. And after 10 months, finally, we decided to go back to Japan. And I learned through every conversation which we had in different houses of the friends, parents working as metro guards, or sometimes police, sometimes doctor, sometimes journalist. I was learning a lot through the conversation with them. And one thing I realized, every work, every job is quite important and very fascinating for me. I didn't totally understand how to work, what kind of job we have to do or I want to do at that time. The one thing I really want to do is interacting with diverse people, from the street people, policemen, the startup guy, and big company director. Everything is fine, but I want to interact with a lot of people in different countries, different cultures. So I decided to join the communication agency, like advertising agency. Actually, I'm working still in that company. The company is called ADK, and now I am working in Cambodia as a branch manager. That is a brief introduction. It's super long already.
No, I love it. No, it's very interesting when you ask people to introduce themselves.
Yeah.
They always start with something different. Sometimes people say they start with a job. Sometimes people say they start with random stuff. Sometimes they start with where they are born. Sometimes, so it's always interesting to see and how long it lasts. Some people self-intro, it lasts like 1 minute. So I'm not even ready with my next question because I was expecting something longer. So I'm like, oh, it's over. Okay. But no, I think I love this intro, especially the when you had to get money in Spain. But Spain is a football country, so you must be very good at football to be able to win all the games. And actually, let's start with that. You mentioned you started football at 4 years old. Do you remember how you started?
I was also influenced by my big brother. My big brother is 4 years older than me, and he was playing football in Hikobae Soccer Club. That is a very classic name in Japan. And I was hanging out with my big brother in the parks, in the school, in the field. So I started briefly at age of 4. And seriously, I started at the age of 10. I joined Kamigo FC, and keep on playing football in junior high school and high school and university. After university, in the company club and the local football club in Kyushu. After I joined ADK, the first place I went to work was Fukuoka City. That is the southwest part of Japan, in Kyushu Island, the big island in Japan. And that is the northeast part of that island. And Fukuoka is very famous for football. And I was invited from one of the local football club, and I joined. And at the very first year, we got a champion in the Fukuoka City. So such kind of level. It's not professional, but like a semi-professional level people in the club. And I was moving around the clubs, going back to Yokohama, joined another club, and moving to Cambodia. I joined a French club that is called Mambo in 2018, so 3 years ago. At that time, Mambo was called Shitty Mambo because of the level was so low.
And then you arrived.
Yeah. And most of the people didn't play football seriously, for fun, just for fun. But I really wanted to elevate that club level. So I was talking with the coach. Coach is Flo, the French guy, and he's quite nice. And we invited a lot of Japanese and another country. And now we have Nigerians, Ghanaians, and Senegalese, and Japanese, French, Cambodians, people from Guatemala, people from Spain, almost 30 players in our club. And now some professional club is inviting us to fight as a friendly match.
Oh, wow.
So now it's getting bigger and stronger, but COVID is happening, so we cannot play, we cannot train. So we are training in the house. We supposed to. But
you need a big house to have a game.
I'm drinking every day. I'm not alcoholic, but I love drinking with a friend.
So they got it from your stories in Spain that you like drinking.
It's consistent.
This didn't change.
Yeah.
Did you ever dream or to be a professional when you were younger?
Yes, of course. When we were primary school students in 1994, that was the year of the World Cup in US for the first time. And at that time, 1993, the Japanese Professional Football League was just started as a professional. And every kid was, how to say, dream to be a professional football player. Every kid, I think. And one of them is me. I really wanted to be a professional football player at that time. And yeah, I trained and practiced every day from morning until dark. And my mother, hey, Jun, let's get into the house. Come back. But under the light on the street, I was juggling, practicing every day actually. And yeah, I was selected as one of the Yokohama City team at the high school student first grade. And I was almost trying to go to the trial of one of the professional team. And yeah, at that time, 17 years old, I was just going back from the school to go to the English class test. And on the way from school, I was, how to say, what is that? The street gang is coming and, how to say, spit on my face all of a sudden. So I was so pissed off. So I punched him in the face. Then the 6 men coming from somewhere, and I was, how to say, broke. I got broken by them. So one of my right foot, how to say this one?
As a
what is that? It's not a bone.
Yeah.
The connecting the bones. That part was broken, so I couldn't go to the trial to get into the professional team. So that was a big accident when I was 17 years old. I gave up because the doctor said, you cannot play 8 months. So 8 months at 17 years old, that's the end. I cannot go to the trial. I cannot go to the selection team. I was almost, I was playing football only at that time and studying English and international politics. That's it. So one of my biggest elements of my life was broken at that time. So I was almost giving up my life. So I was getting super down at that time. But my high school football coach recommended me to go to the other doctor. And the doctor recommended me, hey, Shun, you should not wear that, how to say, the supporter thing. You can walk. No, doctor, I cannot walk because my leg is broken. So you have to practice. You have to walk and use your muscle as much as possible, even the string is broken. And then started swimming every day for 3 kilos every day and muscle training at the house. And then the doctor was pushing me with a needle or the pen kind of thing. It's like a Chinese style in the hand. And he pushed some points, and then I felt, the pain is going away. I cannot believe at that time. But I followed his advice, and 2.5 months I trained so hard by myself with his advice, and then I recovered. So I just went back to my high school football club and played until 18 years old. But it's not a professional level, just my school level. But it was nice. So the biggest learning in that accident was, even we have some kind of trouble or unpredictable accident, accept that and train hard and trying to get over that with believing myself. What do I want to do? What do I want to be? So every day in the uncertain situation, but I try hard as much as possible, and I got recovered. So the learning is even with the miserable trouble, or you can get over.
And I don't know, do you ever wonder, like, because that was in 1995?
That was when I was 17 years old, so 22 years ago. That means 1999.
Okay, so right after France won the World Cup.
Yes.
But, and so at this stage, did you wonder, like, did you think you could become professional again? Or did you know that it was over?
At that time, it was over. 17 years old was my peak. It was so nice at that point. But after that, it was a little bit different. I felt the difference between the accident, before the accident and after the accident. The right foot is not working perfectly, but 80%, 85%.
Yeah.
And I can still play now, so that's okay.
Yeah.
I gave up to be a professional, but I decided to go the different way. So I want to see the world, and I went to Spain and the European countries and interact with the people. Even without football, on the street we played football, but learning through the conversation and knowing the different cultures and histories is quite interesting for me. So my intention and my focus was moving from football to the other cultures or international interaction. That is my slice shift.
Yeah, it's funny because at that time you were studying English, so I guess at that time you were like, okay, I can still study English and be better. And I guess football was an end, so you wanted to become professional, but later it became a mean to connect with other culture.
Yes.
So it's interesting, the switch over the... But you didn't know that yet, but it's interesting how it happened. Okay, so that was the start of your football career. So now, you're still playing. So now you are semi-pro, but still playing against the pro. So somehow, it's coming back a little bit,
little by little.
Yeah, so it's so cool. I want to come back. So you backpacked right after university, or that was during university?
During the university.
And why did you start with Barcelona?
So after going to university, I want to learn one more language. So I decided to choose studying Spanish. At that time, I forget everything, but and one of my friends was studying French. So we can go English, Spanish, and French. We can go to Europe and just go there and with the money. So how long we can stay, where to go, we didn't decide anything. Just starting from Barcelona, because we love Barcelona. We love football. So we want to see the Barcelona football. And starting from Barcelona, go down, Malaga, Valencia, Algeciras, and going across the sea and going to the Tangier, that is Morocco, and going around the city and going back to Spain and going to Portugal. We went to Coimbra, that is a super old city, the university city, and what was that? Cape of Loca, that is the Cape, the most west part of Portugal. That is the place which Columbus was going to start. We went there, our journey starts. Like life journey, we start from here and going around the cities, and it was quite adventurous, unpredictable, not.
At that time, it wasn't really common to do that. I mean, these days everyone is backpacking around, but at that time it was
not so much. Yeah. But we really want to go, so that's why we just go and interacting with the people. It is not intentionally we planned in advance, but talking with the people is the gold. We can learn through the conversation, even with the chef, even with the bartender, even with the random lady sitting next to each other. It's quite interesting. What are you doing? I'm the university student from Japan. From Japan. You guys say konnichiwa, ohayo, like such kind of conversation starts from that. Greetings and exchanging Spanish and Japanese and French and English. And what are you guys doing? Like, I'm a medical university student. Oh, that's a long way. Like those kind of things. And knowing each other. And young people want to know about Japanese cultures. Young people want to know about Japanese histories, what is going on in Japan. And not so many people can speak English or Spanish with us, so that's super rare for them. So they welcome us every time. And we really wanted to know the Spanish history and cultures, everyday life in France, Germany, Netherlands. It was quite nice. And we had a skateboarding, so we just go to skate and with a backpack and just a very dirty t-shirt and shirt pants, and that's it. Quite.
One question, I mean, it sounds so easy, you know, for you and your friend. You go there, you meet all these people. I just wonder did you ever doubt? I mean, did you ever doubt that you will manage to meet all of the people, or was it so natural and it was super easy?
Yeah, at the beginning, the Japanese two guys are playing football. They are not so good. Everybody thought about that, I think. But okay, hey, Japs, like playing football with us. The black guys, two black guys. But they didn't play football seriously like us. So we beat them. Hey, these guys are very strong. Like, so the two black men invited other friends, Spanish guy, French guy, and they tried to beat us. But we didn't get lost. So it's quite interesting to see their reaction. Why Japanese people playing football like this? And we are getting lost by them. And then they want to hang out with us. Hey, let's go to the bar and grab some beer. And that is quite natural. And they are like us, university students. So they want to talk with us, the Japanese cultures, and with drinking beers. Easy.
But that's so cool, because I felt like you found, football is like a universal language. Like so many people want to play football, watch football, or have something to do with football. Yeah. And so many people ask me, how do I do if I go to another country to meet people?
We didn't get worried about that. Yeah. We didn't. We are super positive. Even without meeting people, it's fine. But if we play football on the street, some people would come, we thought. And exactly, they came to try with us and play together and talking about Japanese football, Spanish football, where did you play? And I talked about that accident. Oh, wow, what a tragic accident. Yeah. But you are fine. So, and at that moment, everybody wants to be a friend with us. And I want to be a friend with us, so that's quite nice actually.
It reminds me of a story. Maybe I told you, I don't remember, but I spent 2 months in Benin, so in West Africa, in a very grassroots village. And in Benin, French is a national language, but the more you go deep into the country, the less they speak French, and they speak their local dialect or the other national language. So in the village where I was, so we were with like 5 French guys working there for 2 months, and all the village, and we're working on rural electrification, so how to bring electricity there. But in the village, there was only 2 or 3 people who could speak French. But the thing is, there was 500 kids who were playing football every day at 4 p.m. barefoot, on dirt roads and stuff. Yeah. And I started, we all started to play with them one day. It was really fun. And every day they were waiting for us to come and play at 4 p.m. And we never managed to speak to them with words, but we spoke to them like through football.
Yeah.
Like every day, and they were much better than us.
That's the best communication for me as well.
Yeah.
Football is a universal language, I think.
No, definitely, and I think it's about, for those who listen and they don't play football, like what is your universal language? Because there's so many other things that you can play music, you can...
I cannot play music, that is my shame. I want to play music, but when I tried, at the first time was when I was 11 or 12 years old, everybody getting guitars and started playing guitars, but my finger was so short to a particular chord. So I gave up and I cannot do this. So I want to focusing on playing football.
Yeah, you had to choose, right?
Yeah.
But you did skateboard, no?
Skateboarding, yeah, at the high school.
So how did that? Did that also help you to meet people in when you were traveling?
Yeah. About the skateboarding, my big brother was going to San Diego when he was second grade in high school. At that time, I was 13 years old. And my big brother was coming back from US and with a skateboard deck and a big T-shirt and caps. Oh, this style is super cool. I was really interested in playing skateboarding as well. But at that time I was playing football, so I don't have any time. But when I entered to the high school, kind of time I had, so I went to the Yokohama area. There is a city place, urban city, but near from the sea. And there's a huge park with stones. So there is a best park for skateboarding. And sometimes the policemen trying to arrest or warn us, hey, guys, don't play skateboarding here. And skateboarding is not allowed in many places in Yokohama at that time. So we were escaping from the police sometimes, but finding new place and hanging out with the new friends with different high school, from the different high schools. We were talking about each other, and sometimes the university students come, sometimes adults come, and we were hanging out together and learning each other. Yeah, most of them were not studying at all, just playing skateboarding after the school, interested in playing skateboarding only kind of kids. It's totally different from our high school student friends. Our high school students' friends studying so hard, but they don't have much hobbies. Skateboarding, I don't have any time, like those kinds of different usage of time. But I learned from them, both sides, studying hard student and playing hard students. I'm in the middle, studying and playing hard. That is the best way for me.
Yeah. Do you consider, because you were saying you were practicing football from sunrise to sunset, basically. Do you consider that as playing hard, or is it still working hard?
It's not working for me, just playing, practicing, and training football is my life at that time. So I didn't feel any pain or I want to stop playing football. I never thought about that. It is totally fine.
Did you have, so it was more like just natural, you were playing football all the time, or did you still have to set self-discipline every day, need to practice this, or?
Just by nature, but in the junior high school and the high school there is a practice time, so it is secured. And I was living in Konandai, that is far away from our school. So on the train, commuting time, I was studying and listening to the English and listening to the music. That was input time. And in the house, sometimes extra training by myself and playing skateboarding with my big brother. So that was a time. And sometimes after going to the school, we brought a skateboard deck, and just before going back to home, I played with the friends with skateboard in the nearest station. Yeah, such kind of finding time is very natural. It's not a discipline thing. When I want to play football, when I play skateboarding, I choose naturally.
Okay, yeah, because I'm wondering because you were almost pro, now you are semi-pro, and when it comes to football, you also need to have good health and stuff like to pay attention. So I'm wondering, like I went to, for all the French people, to something called it's like preparatory classes. So it's basically after high school and before university. It's 2 years, and you just study.
2 years?
Yeah.
Oh, you have 2 years between high school and university?
It's more like it's another path that you can take, and you join university, but a kind of university that starts 2 years later. But then you have 2 years to prepare to enter the university.
Oh my God, that's nice.
But well, it's not that nice because basically you have to study the whole time. You don't really have time for hobbies anymore. And you just study from, some people they start at 5 a.m., they end at midnight, but at least, from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. You have to study every day for 2 years because you prepare an exam. And it's a lot criticized because it's not very healthy to do that.
I see.
But many people, they say, I did it, and I'm like, I know that at least it taught me how to work. I mean, maybe like some sort of, the way I work, I can work very fast. In a very short amount of time because I had to do that all the time. But I was wondering in your case, because you had to practice football so hard, how does it translate to your daily life or your work life?
Now or?
Yeah, in general. Like, did you have learnings? I don't know, did football also help you in other aspects of your life? I mean, like beyond meeting people, but I don't know, in your work life or in other projects?
I think, in the primary school, just in the morning we study, and after that we have tons of time. So I spend all the time playing football. In junior high school, I was going to the private school, so it took 1.5 hours or 2 hours every day going to the school and back to the home. So totally 3 hours or 4 hours on the train. At that time, that was a studying time. I want to be efficient, studying English, studying language, studying math, studying sociology, like those kind of things on the train after the school classes. But in the morning until 3 p.m. I have to study, but after 3 p.m. until I sleep, I had a time. So 3 to 6, I had a high school football club practice. Going on the train 1.5 hours, and after that I have a time, so I study, sometimes playing football, even in a junior high school student, a high school student. So I learned using how to use time is very important at that time, and for now, how to use time is very important. I am the branch manager here, but I have a client here. So I'm working from morning until 8 to 5. But after that, except that, I have my personal time. I want to do a lot of things like playing football, taking photos, and studying about. Now I'm studying NFT, non-fungible token, like our digital art thing.
What did you say?
Those kinds of topics in my head I want to use, and I want to focusing on those kind of things after working. So working time, focusing on work. After work, focusing on my life. So the changing and shifting what to focus is very important, which is coming from high school days or junior high school days, I think.
Yeah, it's funny how I see it is back then, okay, I want to, all the time I can, all the time I have where I can play football, I want to play football. So I have to fit in all the other mandatory stuff somewhere. Homework, I have time in the train, I do it in the train, I have time there, but like the priority is football. And then you adapt your agenda depending on the football. So I find it interesting.
But now, work is my main in my life. The longest hours I spend every day. But after that, I have some priorities like photography and football and studying something. So these three. Now I cannot play football, so I'm prioritizing photography and art, studying those kind of things.
But yeah, let's speak about photography. I want to ask you a question. Yesterday I spent, I think it took me 15 minutes
Wow.
to scroll down your Instagram feed to the
For
first
15
picture.
minutes?
Yeah,
Wow.
it just takes so much time. So I arrived, you started, I mean, actually the first picture date from 413 weeks ago.
What was that?
Do you remember the caption of this photo?
I don't know. I don't remember. 413 weeks ago?
Yeah, the first picture on your Instagram feed.
First picture?
Yeah.
What was that?
If I tell you blowing soap bubbles, do I tell you something?
Blowing. Something bubble.
Do you remember this picture?
Yeah. That's my daughter.
So that's your first Instagram picture?
No, I was taking bunch of photos before that, but this episode is quite interesting. I bought iPhone 2010 for the first time in my life. And iPhone is easy to take photos. And I was using a smartphone as my camera. I didn't have any camera at that time. And taking photos, bunch of everyday life, it's not very sophisticated how to use the camera function in iPhone. I didn't know that at all. And very random, very messy photos. I took maybe 300 or 500 already. But I met one of the very, very famous influencer in Japan, in Tokyo. His name is Hiroaki Fukuda. I will let you know later.
Yes.
Hiroaki Fukuda is a very famous guy, but I didn't know him. I even didn't know him at all. And after working, I was going to the London bar in Tokyo, and I met with a French guy and talking in English. My English is like this, so it's like kind of Japanese English. And he was speaking French English and talking each other and start knowing each other. And then one of the guy is coming from behind us and hey, you guys are talking shit, like your English is not good. He was just kidding, and I was so frustrated to listen that. And who are you? And my name is Hiro. I'm half Japanese, half Colombian, so I can speak Japanese. So he was just cheating me. But well, who are you? And what is your hobby? What are you doing? And he was starting explaining himself. I'm taking photos by my iPhone. And do you know Instagram? He asked me. At that time, 2013 was 8 years ago. And yeah, of course, I'm using iPhone and taking photos and posting into the Instagram. Hey, let me see. And he saw my Instagram. Hey, this is so messy, super dirty. It's not photos. And he criticized me. And what about yours? I asked him. And he had 513K followers at that time. And K, what does the K mean? I didn't even understand. K is 1,000 take. And 513000. What? I've never seen K in Instagram. And what is this number? And all the photo is super beautiful. He was a Hiro, ZZZZ, that is the Instagram account name. He's still a super famous photographer. And he gave me one tip for taking photos in Instagram. Hold on. And using a grid and guidelines on your iPhone camera. And you have to make a space, you have to think about the composition, you have to make a light. Those kind of tips every time I meet with him and drink one beer and give me some tips. And I start following him and learning through him. How to take pictures with iPhone is quite deep, and I want to start taking photos seriously. And I deleted all the past photos, 500 garbage photos. That was the first.
So the first photo that you considered good enough?
Yes. So. That was the first photo.
Okay. So for the context, we are speaking about photography because Kasa Take is a super famous photographer. Actually, let me check the. So you also have a K now. So I see 37K followers. So basically, just a one sentence teaser. But then I let you explain everything. We'll speak about it. But most of the people, they say, if you want to see how daily life looks like in Cambodia, follow Take's Instagram page.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Long.
It's so beautiful. So yeah, let's speak about photography. But first, could you share what are the tips that he shared with you?
He gave me the first tip is using camera function, and we need a grid.
So use the grid.
And this is for the composition. And make it vertical, make it horizontal, those kinds of things we have to think about all the time. And if you push long, there's a focus. Did you know that? Focus.
Yes.
Focus key. I didn't know that. So your photos are always blurred because you are not focusing. So I learned that point for the first time at that time.
You were posting blurred photos.
Focus and composition and light.
So when you say composition, what does it mean?
Composition means there is 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9.
So there's 9 squares of the grid?
Yeah. Utilizing this block as your composition. So you have to think about where to put this subject, and if I move to here, what do you want to emphasize in your photo? Like those kind of things you have to think about every time. I didn't have such kind of tips.
So before you were just taking
photos,
like
without
random,
anything, without thinking. And the most important thing I got from him was a theme. What do you want to take? I was just randomly taking everyday things. It's not totally interesting thing for the people who want to watch your photography. So his focus, his theme was stillness or quietness in the loud city. So his photo is totally frozen all the time, in the middle of the street, in the middle of the very busy city. But his photo is totally quiet and very calm, and well captured, very focused, with a very beautiful lights and shadows, and a super good composition of every time. And he doesn't focusing on only people. Sometimes he's taking just a landscape, sometimes taking a forest, sometimes. So he can take all kind of things under the theme of stillness and calmness. I learned about having a theme or having a philosophy. What do you want to take is the most important thing, I think. And I am taking photos of everyday life in Cambodia. I think most of the people, especially the expats living here, is thinking the cityscape and in the middle of Phnom Penh is very dirty places, a lot of full of garbage places, very messy. But if you change your way to see the society or the street, everywhere is super beautiful for me. And especially in the local context, on the just normal street, people selling some clams or the shells. But that is typical local everyday life, which is often ignored by the people. Too common, too normal. Nothing is special. So nobody taking photos of those kinds of everyday ignored life or the everyday just normal life. I want to shed the light on those kinds of people or the cultural context or the very essential society, like basic thing. I want to elevate those kind of things to be got attention or awareness. These people are living here. I want to shed the light on them. So that's why I'm taking just a normal street or the scenes of Phnom Penh mainly.
I really want to come back on that. Maybe like I saw like if we come back to the photo of it was your daughter, right? Because I see there's two phases in your Instagram account. So I should went through everything. Like one phase is all your kids. And then you have a goodbye picture, and then you are in Cambodia.
Yes. Wow, you studied, you learned.
Yeah. I was like, let's analyze a bit. Because I was scrolling, because I know you don't take picture of your kids now. But for 10 minutes I was scrolling, it was only your kids. So I was like, what happened?
So at that time, Hiro advised me to focusing on your theme. If I were you are the father of 2 kids, and they are super adorable. How about taking photos of kids? He asked me, and just taking kids is very normal and it's not super interesting. But taking photo of them in the Japanese society or Japanese typical place, which is rare for the people around the world. So I want to focusing on pictures in the temples or bamboo forests. Those kind of places are not so common in other countries. So I want to introduce Japanese cultures with our kids, with my kids. Then I started taking photos with the Japanese society culture thing with kids. And then all of a sudden, 2015, Instagram, US headquarters, featured me. That was May 5th. May 5th is the Kids Day for in the Japanese society. And I was taking pictures of my son for my wife's friend having a wedding party, and my son Itaru was waiting for the party in the Japanese very typical tatami space with the cherry blossoms and the carps in the pond. Very impressive. And Instagram wants to feature that photo, and once they shared my photo, only one night I got 50,000 followers. 50K.
Wow. Yeah, so you went from how much to how much during that night?
I think that was just 2,000 people follower, and one day 50,000. Wow, Instagram is quite interesting. After that, I got some offers from companies, some NGOs, some people, hey, using this product, using this service, and started hanging out with influencers on the Instagram. Very famous people wants to take photos with us. So I went to take photos of my kids in Tokyo, in Kumamoto, in Yokohama, in a lot of places with other photographers. And
so when you started the Instagram account, so before you met Hiro, what were did you have a specific objective with?
No. That was the problem. I didn't have any theme. I didn't have any topic. Just taking my sweets, like dango, mochi. And sometimes I was taking my house. Sometimes I was taking my friend. It's not totally interested in.
But you were posting for yourself, or you?
Yeah, for myself. I didn't even think about the audience or the followers. Just taking for myself. But take it into consideration about how the people look your photos. Do you have anything you want to introduce to the world? That was a question from Hiro. Hiro was taking photos for himself, but that is his artwork, he said. So artwork, what is that? I didn't know that at that time. But I started thinking about, if I make photography like kind of some art, that's nice. I want to try. And I was working for the advertising agency. From 6 a.m. I wake up and going to the office, starting from 8 a.m. until midnight every day.
Whoa.
From Monday to Friday, I don't have any time to hang out with my kids. So I only have a time on the weekend. So I stopped working at the weekend and spending all the time with my family, especially with my kids. So I really want to bring them to the different places. So that's why this project was starting. Japanese culture thing with my kids. So going so many places and taking different taking pictures, different pictures, and introducing Japanese culture thing through my photography. And then little by little, followers coming to follow me. And at that time, just 2,000 followers, but
Still with iPhone?
with iPhone only. I didn't have any camera. I didn't use any digital camera, only with iPhone. And then Instagram featured, and taking photos seriously is very interesting for me. And just right after, do you remember 2015, 5th May? Just right before the day, 4th of May, 2015 was, I think, the President Obama visited Cuba for the first time. And the relationship between US and Cuba was recovered at that time. And that memorial photo was featured just right before my photo. That was 75,000 likes. And my photo was 76,000 likes. What?
More than Obama.
More than Obama photo. What? Oh, this is crazy. And then I started interested in taking photos seriously and journalistic way, or documenting things, like everyday life focusing things. I was studying briefly about photography. And then 2016, just right after 1 year, I was featured in Instagram. 2016, I moved to Cambodia without my family. So that's why I'm living here with the kids. So I have to change my theme. And after coming here for a week, I was just going around the tourist places like Independence Monument and the Pagoda and Riverside and Komponjam, like those kind of things. It's very typical for the tourist places. But I was so shocked to see the difference between Japanese society and Cambodian society. Motorbikes coming from the different way, and everybody pissed on the street, and a lot of garbages. At that time, I was, this is very raw or hardcore street. But nobody wants to see those kind of the messy situation. But this is normal for the Cambodian people and local. I want to focus on local and very natural, not posed, not commercialized, not edited, but as much as clean way, and not forcing the people to see Cambodia, oh, this is harsh, this is messy. No, this is normal, and this is exactly the normal everyday life. So I want to focus on everyday life at that time. And market, very messy for some people, but for me it's quite fascinating. My favorite place is market in here, Kandal Market, Damko Market, Bonkenkon Market, a lot of market here, and there is a very beautiful lights in the morning and at evening. And people face and smiles very nice. I hate the peace sign photos. This is very commercial, like typical one. I don't need those kind of signs. Just looking at me, or just not looking at camera. Those kind of moments I'm capturing.
And so just to come back quickly, so the moment you met Hiro and the Instagram feature, how long was this period?
2 years, kana. 2 years.
Okay.
I met Hiro 2013, and I was featured in 2015.
Okay.
So 2 years.
And yeah, I think it's very interesting process. And you mentioned find a theme. What do you want to show about Japan to the world? I think very interesting. And also thank you for sharing your process in finding, okay, I'm in Cambodia now, what will be my new theme? It's very interesting. Like you shared, you arrived in Cambodia, so you need to find for a new thematic.
Yeah.
So you were just walking around and you were like, okay, let's capture everyday life. So you are also doing that on weekends, I guess,
Yes,
and working
yes.
on weekdays.
Sometimes very early in the morning, 5:30 in weekday, because I have to go to office and I work from 8 until 5. So usually from Monday to Saturday, I don't have time. Saturday afternoon or Sunday, I have time, or very early in the morning on weekdays.
And so what is your process? Like you walk around the street and you just open your radar and you look around?
Yeah, I am living near from the Olympic Stadium, and there is a Orsay market, and in front of Orsay market there is just a random street market, and so many people coming to buy vegetable, meat and fish and groceries very early in the morning. That is a very liveliness I love they have. And they are quite busy selling and buying and shouting each other, but that is the very classic Phnom Penh, and with old architecture, with new sky condos behind, there is a big contrast between the locals and the new modern city, like developed rapidly, too rapidly for me. But such kind of contrast and such kind of life in Phnom Penh is very typical in Southeast Asian countries, I think. And that is quite different from Japan, from US or from Europe. I want to take pictures of now, transition from classic to modern, and very mixed. So just randomly walking around my house, and going sometimes into the market, sometimes on the street only, and just walking around.
I wonder that it's a challenge I personally have, but I see you have a lot of portraits of people, and it's so beautiful. I will post some, post the link and stuff. Me for example, I remember every time I go somewhere and I'm by myself and I want to take photos of people. I'm so shy, or I don't dare, and I'm like, oh my god, I feel a bit like as a stranger. I feel like I don't manage to get this neutral position. I don't know how to like, photographer position where you just like it as if you are invisible. But for me, I feel like I'm disturbing everything.
I think I got that. That is, I think, one of the technique or skill to approach to the right people, and I cannot speak mine, but they cannot speak English. But how to contact with them is, for me, during the journey, adventure in Europe, I was playing football without any Portuguese, without any French, without any German. But we could interact with people through the football. Football is a universal language. For now, camera, taking photos, is universal language between me and the local people. When I take pictures, all of a sudden taking pictures, people get mad. Like, don't take my film, like those kind of things. But if I take photos and show them, hey, this is you. Oh, nice. Like those kind of first interaction ease the tension of them. And this guy is not harmful and taking just a normal life here. And I'm walking around every week, so everybody knows me, I think. They don't have any hostile feeling from me. So going to the local, going to the exclusive communities at the beginning is quite tough for me as well. But once you get in, very easy.
Because I was so impressed when we visited the weaving village, so a village where people are weaving scarves. Me, I wanted to take a picture, I was a bit shy. You were already like with your camera, like in the position, like super pro. I was like, oh my god, this is so good. I'm not able to, I cannot do that. So I was so impressed.
So the distance between the subject is also very important. That is, I think, for me, exactly the distance between me and subject. I think that is psychological distance. this guy is too close. If the subject thinks like that, I cannot take good pictures. But this guy is nice. I can trust him. If I can get such kind of feeling from them, I can take good photos.
What is the reaction like when you show the photos of people to them?
So the newest portrait in my Instagram is the sugarcane uncle. Yes, this guy is smiling because I'm taking photos of him from the distance at the beginning. Is that okay? I came close to you. I was asking in English, but he doesn't understand. And then he signed like, sum up, hey, come, like. And then I get in close little by little, and yes, this distance is quite nice, and push the button, and I showed him, and very smiley, he was very happy, and I was getting more close to him. So then this photo is coming.
Yes, I'll put the link to the photo. It's such a beautiful picture.
So I used to take photos of him 1 year ago or 2 years ago at the Damco market, and I went there with Cambodian friend, and he talked to him. And he's a sugarcane wholesaler, and most of the sugarcane vendors buying the sugarcane from him every day in the morning, 5:30 or 6. And I was remembering that story. But after COVID is happening, the customers getting fewer, and his salary is getting lower. And he's getting down now, like depressed kind of. But you came again, like a Japanese guy taking photos of me. This is the second time. Like, I want to show him the good portrait of him.
Yeah.
So that was the meaning of this photo.
And yeah, like speaking about that, like recently you started. I mean, recently actually, I've been stalking you a lot. So I think you started in May 2018, something like this, Humanista. Because it's what you said. On top of taking pictures, you also try to discuss with the people that you are taking picture of. So yeah, you came up with this project of Humanista. So it's about. Well, actually, you will explain better than me.
So yeah, I was taking pictures, and just taking pictures of everyday life is not enough for me, and I started wanting to know the people more deeply, and how to know the people more is quite difficult. Just taking photo and talking about photos, it's nice, but it's not. It's quite shallow for me. And in Phnom Penh, it's like a paradise for me because I can meet diverse people, different background from the different cultures from different countries. I cannot see any Armenians in Japan. I cannot see any Tajikistanis here in Japan. But I can easily get in along with Turkish, Tajikistanis, Russians, Armenians, Albanians. Where are you from? It's such a interesting question for me. But where are you from? Never asking everybody here, because it is very common and very normal. Where are you from doesn't matter. After talking a little bit, and anyway, where are you from? Like those kind of things happening. But in Japan, in Japanese community, most of the people hanging out with Japanese. I hate that. And I want to go out from the box, and I want to meet different people, and Armenians, Albanians, Ghanaians, from South America, South Africa, Mongolians. Everybody's super cool. In Phnom Penh, there are a lot of cool people from different cultures. That is the most fascinating thing in Phnom Penh for me. So I wanted to know more about them. What is the best question for them? How old are you? Where are you from? What is your name? It's super boring question. So what is the Japanese style way of asking to know the people more? That is ikigai. Ikigai is quite cool to know the people. Ikigai is a kind of purpose of life purpose. And Ikigai is now getting in English and getting more popular among expats as well, I think. So I started to asking that question. What is your Ikigai? It's quite difficult. What is your life purpose long? If I ask this question, I think it is quite difficult. But to know the friends and the people's Ikigai, there's 4 aspects for me. Like, what is the most joyful moment in your life? What is the saddest moment in your life? What is your suffering moment in your life? And what is your what? I forgot, but
I wrote down all the questions because I was going to ask them to you.
Oh my god!
What is your sweetness in life? What is your anger, salty, sour in life? What is your grief, bitter in life? What is your umami, ikigai in life? That's the question you ask on your website.
So through those questions, even the local people, even the expats, everybody can say in different way, and it's quite interesting for me. But for some local Cambodian people, those questions cannot be understood well. If I ask, what is your sweetness in your life? You can immediately answer. But for some local people, they cannot answer. And all the answer is the same. Like, why are you doing this job? Because for supporting family, getting money. Job is for money. Like those kinds of, how to say, social context. I am working for getting money for supporting family. This is like a narrative. After receiving those kind of answers from Cambodian people, every time I stopped asking that question to the street people. I started choosing the right person to ask that question. Most of the expat people, friend here, can answer in different ways, in different meaning. It's quite interesting. So another project in my mind is breaking narrative here. I have to work for getting money for supporting my family. And men work outside and women are working inside house. Those kinds of narratives are quite strong. I want to break that. That is my next project in my mind.
So, yeah, I think with humanist, there was one portrait that you showcase also in your first exhibition, and I really still think about it sometimes. And I know many people also commented. It's the one from Sin, the way speaker.
Yeah.
So I wondered if you could. So yeah, maybe to give some context. So Sin is I will put the link as well. But she's a way speaker, and she's been sharing that she lost her husband, that she can make maybe $2 every day to support her 2 kids. And when you ask the question like, what is your ikigai in life? She says, I don't have any ikigai.
Yeah. So, I cannot have ikigai, she said.
So for me, I read this, and I was like, I just didn't know really. But I mean, it's very, in one way, it's beautiful to be able to hear from her, because it's, in my case, I would never be able to know her story. But at the same time, it's very sad to know that. And I wondered, like, what was how did you know her, approach her, and how did you feel after hearing from her?
As I said before, I cannot speak Khmer. So through my Japanese friend, he is owning and running the Japanese Cambodian language school here. And one of his students wants to learn Japanese from me, and he can translate Japanese or English into Khmer. And I trusted him and bring him everywhere. And when I went to the school, just in front of the school, that same lady is coming from somewhere, just picking up the garbage and pet bottles. I always wanted to ask some questions to those kind of people. and I asked a question, can I interview you through the Cambodian translator? And she said, okay. At the beginning, she denied. I don't want to talk with people. I don't want to talk with Japanese. I don't want to talk with anybody. But I tried to convince her this is not for making fun of your life. This is not insulting your life. I want to take photos of you to introduce your life, or what are you doing here and why that happened. And I think in your story there is something very important elements in this society. This is not making for fun of you. I want to document you. And she understand, and she started talking herself. And just right after introducing herself, he started crying. And why? I was feeling sympathized, and I stopped asking questions. But I told her it's not. It's totally fine. If you want to cry, cry forever. And if you stop crying, I can talk with you. I will listen to you. I will not force you anything. Just listen. Just listen your words, I said to him. And she stopped crying, and she started trusting me. And this guy is really serious. And she answered every question. And she lost her husband. And before losing her husband, she was getting money enough and living together with kids. But after the husband died, she has to start working, and there was no choice to pick up the bottles and making money. Making money means just $2 or less than $2 per day. It's quite tough under the strong sunshine. I was quite sad and very why those kind of things happen. The wife was just living normally, but the husband has hit by the car, drunken car, and I'm supporting the car company here. Selling a new car and making profit is very fine, but I think there is something what we can do for them, like stop the drink and drive campaign, or raising awareness of wearing helmets, or bigger car is really nice here, smaller is beautiful, like those kind of social norms changing campaign. I want to do that. I was thinking a lot of things after talking with her, especially about the car accident, talking what she was doing. She was talking to me and just picking up the garbage. And even picking up the garbage, if we do that, picking up garbage automatically with the robots or the Sentry or those kinds of companies, these ladies lose job as well. Society is very complicated. If one thing is good for somebody, but at the same time, that may harm the other lives. If we pick up garbage perfectly here, those kinds of people cannot work anymore. I was thinking those kinds of complexity of society here. It seems to be good to be clean up everything, but for some people, it's not good for. So, making some social measurement or political setting, or it's quite tough, man. And in Phnom Penh, in Cambodia, there is a lot of problems. Wants to be cleared, wants to be pointed out from international society, but not always international politicians or international people pointing out is good or right for this society. In Cambodian way, there is right way, I think, and sometimes international way also not good for Cambodian society. I am learning a lot of things from this conversation with her.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's Yeah, it was such. I mean, the portrait online is short, but it's still you can. The picture is so powerful, and the story is so powerful, and it's. I think it's an important part of what you do, whether it's with people or also everyday life. You make it visible to other people who might just not see it every day. So somehow like you make the invisible more visible. So what you said, like putting a spotlight on it.
Yeah.
So
like elevating normal people.
Yeah.
Like making invisible visible is very right word. I really inspired by Raphael, the French Khmer photographer here, and I met through Instagram when he was in France at that time, and he moved to Cambodia 2000, I don't know when, 2016 or 17. He was asking one question before we were getting knowing each other. What is your philosophy or what is your theme of your photos? Just the same question of you, and I answered with everyday life, elevating the people. Like I want to focusing on the normal people, shed the lights on them, like those kind of things. And his theme was making invisible visible, and he also having a photography exhibition at the Meta House before me, and we were selected Pen Art Festival from 26 April this month at the same time. And he's a teacher in Canadian school and very good teacher, but his passion is now photography.
Oh, okay.
We were talking a lot of things, cultural exchange, and making invisible visible is his word. So I don't want to use the same philosophy.
Yeah.
And at the same time in US, the Korean American was killed by the mass shooting. And after that, Time magazine featured one of the Asian American lady, and she said all the same thing. My art is for making invisible visible. So most of the artists or photographers are thinking such kind of or having such kind of philosophy. So I want to basically same. I want to find the values in our everyday life, mainly the people who are not in mainstream. The kids selling the food for pigeons on the Riverside. Most of the people don't like them, and they are annoying. They are just begging for food for pigeons. It's fine. They have to live, and very common. Have you ever talked with them? I want to ask most of the people living here. I think most of the people don't talk with them, even don't talk to them. I'm really interested in those kids, each kids, and hanging out with them and taking photos and print out and pass it them. And they remember me also. Take is coming, hey, taking photo of me. Now we are some kind of a friends, but not so many people interested in those kinds of interaction with the, poor background people. I don't care those kind of poor or rich or CEO or homeless people. I'm talking equally to the people. I want to be equal to everybody, and I want to act or treat everybody equally. So I want to stand by the the vulnerable people more than rich and strong and the people in power. I don't like that. They don't need that. I want to stand by those kinds of vulnerable people.
Is it a mindset that you've always had, you think, or that you discovered through photography?
That's a good question. Why I came up with this mindset? Before coming to Cambodia, I was going around the world just for trip. It's not living. But in Cambodia, this is the first time in my life living in abroad. And they accepted me, strange Japanese people, to live here. And they are totally fine. And the liquor shop guy, tobacco shop guy, supermarket guy, people on the street, everybody very friendly to me. And sometimes the snatching people coming on the bike, I hate them, but that is Phnom Penh life. I don't care. And there is a huge gap between the rich and poor here. This is a real. And everybody on the street driving a big, huge car, bigger is better mindset, and sky condos. Do you think we need that? Actually, who will live in that condos? Just for investment from China or somewhere else? Rapid development of the city, too much buildings, sky buildings, which is not needed for, but those kind of new is nice. Bigger is better. I am not interested in at all. That life here itself is quite beautiful, and old classical architecture is much more beautiful than sky condos. I want to, some people notice that, but local people is changing their mindset. Oh, new is better and bigger is better. That is super capitalized theory or mindset. I want people be very grounded. What is important for our life? What matters for our life? Not changing the perception, but I want to contribute to let people know what matters in our life. After coming to Cambodia, seeing the huge gap between rich and poor, that makes me thinking about those kind of mindset, especially. But before coming to Cambodia, I was going to church with my parents, and he treats people equally, and women, men, doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. And I was having trouble with the street gang, or life is absurd. What is this absurdity? But getting over the absurdity, that is life. And giving up one of my dream and getting over and turning my life way, and it's okay, accept that, and being positive and not bullying, not criticizing people. People are everybody equal, rich or poor sometimes happen, but no need to make it bigger. Enough is enough. Such kind of mindset is growing up in Japanese society, I think. That is the basic mindset. And coming to here and seeing that huge gap and make me accelerate that mindset. And I want to share, I want to contribute to share such kind of mindset. That is behind my photography, I think.
It's funny to reflect on how your photography evolved so much, whether it's material, technical, but also the message. You started with no technical, no message, nothing, just like putting random picture. Then you start to develop a bit of your thematic and the technique you use, and more now. You have a proper camera, you have a very big message that you want to share. And I'm wondering what is the next step in your photography journey? Do you want to be a full-time photographer?
I'm not thinking about it seriously, but as Long said, at the beginning I don't have any technique, I don't have any message. But after meeting with Hiro and featured in Instagram, I was seriously thinking about my theme and the message. And after coming to Cambodia, I have some strong message through photography. And but even now, I I'm not expressing myself well through photography. So I'm thinking about documenting some typical or special people, like working in the developed condos as a migrate people, or I want to stand by the vulnerable people, and there are a lot of topics here and there. So I want to choose some topics and spending some long time and making a documentary or documenting photos or journals. That is one topic in my mind, and I'm started learning about NFT, non-fungible token.
Can you explain what is it?
NFT is like a Bitcoin, Ethereum, and for the
cryptocurrency.
Artists, for the artists or creators. And one of my friends and so many people, hey Take, digital camera. You are using digital camera. How are you using analog camera? I'm starting using analog camera as well, because the digital camera, the photos are all digital, and that data is totally copied, able to copy and reprint as much as you want. 1 million copy, 10 billion copies, you can reproduce as much as you want. But analog camera, film, if you have a development machine, you can reprint as much as you want. But it takes time than digital data. So digital print is the cheapest art, and analog film is much more value than digital camera photos. And after that, art or painting is one of the art, is only one, so cannot be reproduced. So that's the most highest value among digital photos, analog photos, and art. Okay, what I'm doing here is less value than analog camera and art. What? I was thinking about that. And then there is NFT, and NFT is a non-fungible token. Even my digital photo cannot be reproduced anymore. One data is only one. So through NFT art, I can make money much better than just selling digital print photos. So I am moving to the NFT photos, and I will start selling that photos in the digital art network. And if I can make profit, I will distribute that profit to the vulnerable people. Like I'm thinking about making a force or power for the vulnerable people. That is my next step, I think.
You're like a photograph art activist.
Yeah, I want to be like that.
And I have just two technical questions about photography, just to close the loop of photography. Yeah. But I think it could be interesting for people who don't really know about photography to know.
Yeah.
But the first one is, could you explain or share a bit on, from many people, I would say, like, have no idea how to take a beautiful picture, or don't really use how to use a camera or a phone at the best technical capacities. But what we say is different now. Today you have your camera, you know how to take perfect shots. What is the difference between when you didn't know anything?
Well, actually, I didn't go to any photography school, or I didn't see any YouTube to study about how to take photos. Techniques, if you Google how to take photos, you can have an answer. And if you watch some YouTube videos, how to use the analog camera or how to use the digital camera, you can learn in a day, I think. But as Lon said, holding camera and approaching to the people and taking portraits of the strangers or random people, it is quite difficult, right? It's quite tough to approach such kind of people because you are shy or because you lack of experiences. I think the experience is the most important thing to develop your skill or how to take photos. How to take photo technique is learned by study, but actually doing that, taking photos, learned by doing only. I think I just learn by doing. Going to the street and taking photos of the people, of the scenery, of the everyday life. I just go and taking bunch of photos, 500 sometimes, 700 sometimes, and selecting 1 to 3 photos in a day. Almost every week I'm doing that. So I taking photos, bunch of doings, numbers of doings that matters, I think.
Is Hiro still giving you feedback or advice?
No. I'm not. We are not interacting so long time. He's in Japan. I'm in Cambodia, and there is no time to hang out together. He's super busy as well.
Yeah.
And after knowing that doing is the most important thing for taking photos and building up your skill, and after taking bunch of photos, much more important thing is a message, like theme. I'm coming to Cambodia and taking bunch of photos and knowing the local people's mindset and realizing what I want to do through photography. Sending some messages through vulnerable people, elevating their existence and sharing their words into the world who don't know them. Like such kind of message or such kind of stance or having some philosophy or theme is the most important thing now. It's not about technique. It's not about camera or instrument. What kind of function does that camera have? It doesn't matter. But what do you want to say through this photography is the most important thing. Now I'm thinking about that.
It's funny because it makes me, I do a parallel with, startups and entrepreneurs. It's not about, because you said it's about learning by doing, taking photos every week and knowing why you are taking photo. It's also what we say to aspiring entrepreneurs, like, why do you want to start a company?
Yeah.
Do you have a problem that you want to solve? And the best way to start a company is to do something. It's not to wait until you have investment. It's not to wait until you have the perfect product. It's just to do and iterate along the way and understand why you want to start a company.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. It's similar.
Quite similar.
Yeah.
Actually. And I love startup people and entrepreneurs. And through Impact Hub, I have a lot of entrepreneur friends. And you and Melanie, Olivia, and so many entrepreneurs here.
Who are also in Humanista.
Yeah, I really love them because they are passionate about something to do for something good for society, something better for the world, and they are dedicating themselves to do something good. I love them. My passion is now in photography, but I want to do some stories about entrepreneurs as well. It's quite nice to tell.
Yeah.
It's worth telling, I think.
Yeah, definitely. So another this question I'm curious about. Like, I don't know, if you go to a photo exhibition, or if someone shows you a photo, if someone comes here, shows us a photo, a beautiful photo to both of us, what will you see or pay attention to that I don't see or I don't pay attention to?
What?
With your photographer eyes.
Again?
Like imagine like someone comes and show us both a picture. I wonder, since you have like, what would you see in the picture or notice that I will not be able to notice? Does that make sense?
Somebody come here and showing the picture.
Yeah, show the same picture to both of us. Do you think would you see the picture in a different way than I do? Would you think, good composition, good rule of third, or?
I think so. Yeah, in different way. As you know, the designer designer's eye
Yeah.
and normal people's eye is totally different. Long is sitting here, and that's it, normal people. But if the designer coming here and sitting down here, that pink line, no need. You have to pick up that leaflet here, like super detailed eyes they have, and photographer as well. And with the passion or mindset, like elevate the people's light or elevate the people's life, like I don't want that commercial message. I don't want this one. Like I am, mind matters. Like mind decide how to see the world, I think.
Yeah, it's interesting. You will see as expert in photography, but also from the lens of your thematic.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think it's totally different views.
Yeah.
And I think you have a lot of things which I cannot see. I think. That's an interesting thing.
Yeah, and actually, I was reflecting about this question with myself. Like, I don't know, it made me think about facilitation skill. Like when people host workshops, me, I will pay attention to. I always observe how people facilitate a workshop because I notice all the small things. I don't know, because it's just my maybe I have facilitator's eyes, so I see what people maybe do wrong or not according to my philosophy of facilitation also. So maybe for photo I will just say, oh, it's beautiful, not beautiful. But for facilitation I'm more technical.
Same. Same, but in different way.
Yes. No, that's super interesting. No, it's funny to listen to your photography journey. I mean, I guess can give hope to a lot of aspiring photographers who might be listening. I want to ask you, because it's, but the three questions of, maybe not the last one, Ikigai, because I feel like the whole conversation is around it, but more like the three first one. But what is your sweetness in life?
Sweetness in life? Now I am living near the Olympic Stadium, and recently one of my best friend is moving. No, it's not moving. Just coming long-term project to Cambodia, and he's the same football team, and he's living next door.
Oh. And
under quarantine and curfew days, every day he's coming.
That's why you're drinking every day.
Drinking every day, and exchanging our opinions or experiences, and knowing each other and knowing friend much more deeper, and having something important thing in common. Recently we talked about experiences, and he was going to US when he was a university student, and now and he is working as a JICA person and going to Paraguay and going to somewhere and coming here, and he's dedicating himself for physical education in Cambodia, and his eyes and his experiences inspiring me, and my experience and my perspectives inspires him. So such kind of inspiration exchange is quite sweet for me now. Such kind of, hey, look at me, like selfie, like in the photography board, selfie is like, for me, it's not interesting at all. Showing yourself on the social media, I will definitely not do that. It's such kind of shallow or commercial thing everywhere. But the photography putting light on to the invisible people, like Raphael doing, and some genuine photographers doing, is very attractive for me. So that is the same in the conversation. So, hey, where are you from? And what are you doing? And that's it. But what is your experience in your past in Paraguay, like those kinds of things, and digging deep each other and knowing much more deeply is the sweetest thing.
Okay, cool. So the second one was, what is your anger equals or your salty sour in life?
Anger is sometimes I'm getting angry. Not so much. I'm accepting everything kind of person, but sometimes people don't keep promise or break the promise or not deciding anything, where to go or which way to go. Such kind of
like, what do you want to eat today? Here, this kind of stuff.
So sometimes in the job, in the working, sometimes happening. I hate that.
Straight to the
so with that message or with that philosophies, I am not interested in at all. People with that philosophy, I'm getting angry. Just pursuing or chasing money, lack of philosophy, I hate that. So bigger is better mindset, I hate that. I'm getting angry.
Yeah, I think it's asking this question, I was like, you shared a lot about what made you angry already, like, when you were speaking, after we shared about the story of sin. But also daily life stuff makes you angry.
Side.
And the last one is, what is your grief or bitter in life?
That is, I am living here, separated with Japanese family. I cannot see the growth of my kids every day. That is the biggest grief.
Yeah. No, especially, we were spending all the weekends taking pictures with them, and now, you can. When was the last time that you met them?
I met them 2019, so 2 years ago.
Oh, 2 years ago.
After
Okay.
COVID, I cannot go back to Japan.
Yeah. Okay.
Every year I went back to Japan twice, but last year, this year, I think I cannot go back. So, very uncertain.
Yeah.
But we can get over.
Yeah. I hope that.
Everybody suffers, and compared with Myanmar, compared with other places like Syria and Belarus, Hong Kong, it's quite tough. Compared with them,
we're doing good.
Fine.
Yeah.
So I don't say that.
Okay. Cool. I hope that you can see them soon.
Yeah.
Still. Okay, so we are approaching the end. Do you know how long have we been talking? We are chilling.
Oh my God! Almost 2 hours.
1 hour and 45 minutes. I have two last questions to conclude. Because we've been speaking a lot about the past, reflecting a bit about the future. So now is I always end with these two questions. So how do you want people to know you or to remember you for?
Wow. I've never thinking about that.
You should see his face right now.
I want the people remember me by good person to provide us a different perspective, to see the better world. That's what I really want people to remember me.
And do you think you are on track?
Yeah, I think so. It takes time, but I'm on the right track, I think. I hope so.
Yes, you are.
Garbage.
Cool. And if you had to describe yourself in 3 hashtags.
3 hashtags.
What would that be?
3 hashtags. Experiencist. That is one. And elevating people. That's the second one. And uniquely caring.
Experiences, elevating people, uniquely caring.
Yes.
Cool, perfect, super beautiful.
I want to use that hashtag for myself.
Okay, cool. So the final question is where, people can find you on Instagram, there is Humanista website and your own website also. Why maybe if there is any other place where they can find you, and if they want to contact you, why should they contact, what should they tell you?
Let's have a podcast together. Contacting me, whatever you want to talk with me, or talking about the ikigai, or talking about what the society, what the world needs, do you think the most? I want to talk about that.
Okay.
And what is the most funniest experience in your life? I want to exchange about that as well.
What is the most fun experience in your life?
Well, any experience is nice. My saddest experience was when I was in 17. The most surprising experience was Instagram featured me, and more than Obama photo. That was surprising. Those kinds of my experience exchange, that is quite nice. I don't care about things, but I care about the experiences.
Okay, cool. So contact him to share about what you think the world needs and your crazy, sad, funny, surprising experiences, and also to tell him that the episode was awesome. Please do that. Thank you so much, Take.
Thank you so much,
That
Tom.
was so cool.
Yeah.
1 hour 50 minutes. Can you believe it? It just went through like in 5 minutes.
Wow. Do you know, Ron? In short time, this is called Kairos time. Kairos. And there is a Chronos time in Greece. Chronos is just a watch, timer, like business time. But Kairos time, I think it was just 30 minutes or 1 hour, but it passed 1 and 50 minutes. I didn't imagine such kind of long conversation at the beginning, but time flies. Those kinds of mind or the realizing the time is extending and shrinking really. This is called Kairos time.
Okay, Kairos time.
Kairos time.
Oh, we had a Kairos time. Oh, cool. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Take.
Thank you.
Congrats for listening until the end of this episode. Of course, to best support Lifeline, you can share this episode to 2 of your friends and subscribe to the next episodes on any platform. See you next time.